What's up guys, and welcome back to Wall Street Millennial. On this channel, we cover everything related to stocks and investing. It's no news that the XRP token has become a shadow of its former self. In 2012, when Ripple first launched its token, it glittered so much that investors mistook it to be gold, and so they invested heavily into it. In 2018, the coin reached a peak above $3, giving it a market cap of roughly $120 billion. Sadly, 2 years later, it had lost more than 90% of its value, wiping out $100 billion of total value. It has rebounded somewhat since then, but is still down more than 70% from its all-time high. Ripple's trouble started in 2018, when an XRP investor sued the company alleging that the creation and sale of XRP tokens constituted the issuance of unregistered securities. The plaintiff in question had personally invested about $1,600 into XRP and sold his coins for a $500 loss. Presumably, he wanted the courts to award him $500 in compensation. At first, people laughed off this lawsuit. Imagine suing Elon Musk if you lost money holding Tesla stock. However, in 2020, the disgruntled got support from the Securities and Exchange Commission when they also sued Ripple, accusing the company of selling $1.3 billion of XRP tokens, which they consider to be unregistered securities. The current SEC, led by Chairman Gary Gensler, has made it its mission to crack down on the crypto industry, and XRP is the lowest hanging fruit in this regard. So what is going on? Is XRP a security? And if so, what are the implications for Ripple and the crypto industry more broadly? While the two are often mentioned interchangeably, it's important to recognize the distinction between Ripple and XRP. In 2011, the American computer programmer Jed McCaleb founded Ripple Labs, which then developed the Ripple protocol and associated XRP token. Interestingly, Jed was also the founder of the infamous Bitcoin exchange Mt. Gox, but sold that company before it was hacked. The idea behind Ripple was to use blockchain technology to settle financial transactions, bypassing the slow and expensive traditional banking system. This value proposition is especially compelling for cross-border transactions, which can be extremely costly. They claim to beat many large banks by charging minimal cross-border payment fees. To facilitate this payment platform, Ripple Labs created their own native cryptocurrency called XRP. Whenever users make a transaction using the network deducts 0.00001 XRP as a fee. They launched the XRP cryptocurrency with an initial coin offering in 2012, and would eventually sell more than $1 billion to investors on the open market. XRP's blockchain works somewhat differently from most other cryptos. It does not use proof of work, rather it uses a consensus protocol. There are a few major benefits of consensus mechanisms over proof of work. Proof of work coins like Bitcoin require miners to complete complex equations to verify each block before it is added to the chain, and are given newly minted Bitcoins as a reward. This takes a huge amount of computing power, and importantly, a huge amount of electricity. XRP's protocol only requires the majority of ledger holders' consent of transactions on the system for them to be added to the blockchain. As a result, the Ripple process is highly efficient and fast compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin can only handle a maximum of 7 transactions per second. This inherently limits its scalability as a payment method, and keeps transaction costs high. The Ripple network can process up to 1,500 transactions per second, and this explains the minimal transaction fees. This value proposition allowed them to land some high-profile customers, including the Spanish banking giant Santander, which used Ripple's platform to support their cross-border payment service. Of course, creating a new global payments company costs money. They have to hire software engineers to build the platform itself, salespeople to onboard new customers, and a whole host of administrative and support staff. Ripple Labs has an office in San Francisco and over 800 employees. Hiring 800 employees costs money, so they launched an initial coin offering for XRP in 2012, just 1 year after Ripple Labs was founded. They ended up selling $1.3 billion worth of XRP tokens, and at its peak in 2018, it had a market capitalization of $120 billion, making it the third largest cryptocurrency in the world. And that brings us to the lawsuit filed by the SEC against Ripple Labs and both its two CEOs on December 20, 2020, alleging that at the time of the ICO, the XRP was an unregistered security. The basis for the lawsuit comes all the way back to the US Securities Act of 1933, which is intended to give greater investor protection in the wake of the stock market crash, which ultimately precipitated the Great Depression. All companies involved in the selling of securities must register with the Securities and Exchange Commission and comply with a whole host of disclosure requirements about their financial condition, potential conflicts of interest, etc. As a result of the SEC case against Ripple, Coinbase announced the delisting of the XRP from the exchange on December 28, 2020. Ripple Labs, however, argued against the classification of XRP as a security. They pointed out that in 2018, the SEC said that they do not consider Ethereum to be a security because of its decentralized nature.
When we look at Bitcoin or if we look at Ether and the highly decentralized nature of the networks, we don't see a third-party promoter where applying the disclosure regime would make a lot of sense. So we're comfortable in some sort of viewing these as items that don't have to be regulated as securities.
They argued that XRP is very similar to Ethereum and feel like they are being unfairly targeted. However, the SEC wouldn't come up with a baseless claim. The Howey test, the product of the 1946 Supreme Court case, which examines whether a financial instrument qualifies as a security, says it all. According to the Howey test, if an instrument requires an investment of money into a common enterprise with the reasonable expectation of profits derived from the efforts of others, it is a security. So considering the Howey test requirements, is XRP a security? Well, the obvious answer is yes. Ripple satisfies the Howey requirements in these ways. Investors purchase the XRP token, which constitutes an investment of money, and they expect to make a profit on the investment. The question is, for the investors that buy XRP tokens, why do they expect to make a profit? Because XRP is Ripple's native token, the value of XRP is inherently tied to the success of Ripple Labs. Any profit an XRP investor could hope to make is dependent on the efforts of Ripple's employees. Ripple Labs sold over $1.38 billion worth of tokens to raise funds for the company. While they didn't call it an IPO, it's economically equivalent to a company listing its shares on the New York Stock Exchange and using the proceeds to fund their operations. This is the exact point the SEC made in their lawsuit. They said, quote, "The development of the XRP ledger and the profits that investors expected to derive therefrom were and are based entirely on the technical, managerial, and entrepreneurial efforts of defendants and other third parties employed by the defendants." Unquote. SEC lawsuits rarely ever reach the courts because it's usually much cheaper to negotiate with the SEC, pay a small penalty, agree to stop the offending behavior, and move on. But this was not an option for Ripple. If they had to register XRP as a security, this would threaten the viability of their entire business model. So Ripple decided to go on the offensive and fight this lawsuit out to the bitter end. According to Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, the company has spent over $100 million over the past 2 years on legal fees. Ripple insists that the XRP token is only a tool to simplify international payments and not any kind of investment product. Ryan Zagone, Ripple's Director of Regulatory Relations, told the UK Parliamentary Committee that, quote, "There's not a direct connection between Ripple the company and XRP," unquote. On March 8, 2021, CEO Brad Garlinghouse sent letters to the US District Court arguing that the SEC lacked fair notice. The Ripple SEC lawsuit has continued to linger, putting the entire crypto community, but especially major XRP investors, on edge. It is clear what Ripple is trying to avoid at all costs: the heavy regulations. If a digital asset is classified as a security, it will be regulated by a wide range of federal and potentially state securities laws and regulations. They would be forced to comply with a whole host of reporting requirements meant to protect insider trading, market manipulation, etc. These reporting costs would make it impractical for banks and other financial institutions to make high volumes of transactions with XRP. Imagine a company settling all of its invoices with shares of Tesla stock. It just wouldn't make any sense. The ongoing battle between the SEC and Ripple Labs over the latter's token XRP is getting fiercer by the day and has lasted far longer than most people expected. The class action, which was supposed to commence in August of 2022, was moved to November 18, 2022. We can't actually say how it'll end, but as of September 29th, a federal judge ordered the SEC to turn over documents related to their 2018 decision not to regulate Ethereum as a security. This is perhaps one of the major decisions so far in this case. At least that's what it's looking like on the surface. But what exactly does this decision mean for the SEC? The SEC is going to be turning over all of the emails, discussions, documents, and communications that have to do with the Ethereum free pass speech in 2018. Remember that this is one of Ripple's main defenses. They argue that the SEC is unfairly targeting XRP, while they have not accused Ethereum of being a security. However, there may be a key difference that may work against Ripple in court.
So just to be clear, for example, a Book of the Month club that we're joining on an ICO, or a golf club membership, we're not expecting any financial gain there. That would not be considered a security, am I right?
Fair enough. If you have that system up and running, if you have someone promoting the next golf course and is selling interests, and the architect and the land and all the key items aren't there yet, and you buy 25 memberships, that may be an investment. You're looking for a return on that. On the other hand, if you go down the road and you buy an investment, or you buy a membership in a club that's up and running and you just use it to play a round of golf, that's probably just a good old golf membership.
If Ripple's payments platform was already up and running at the time of their initial coin offering, it may not have been a security. But when they first started selling XRP tokens to the public, the company Ripple was only 1 year old. They needed the proceeds from the XRP sale to build the business which exists today. When you buy shares in a company, you become a legal owner, and the management team is legally required to act in the best interest of shareholders. Because XRP is not regulated as a security, there is no legal protection. So what does this mean exactly? Theoretically, Ripple could just stop using XRP for their payment processing services, and switch to Bitcoin for example, or even create a completely new coin. This would leave the XRP holders with nothing to gain and no legal recourse. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too by raising money from the public, without any legal obligation to act in the best interests of their investors. The outcome of the Ripple SEC lawsuit will go beyond the XRP community, to affect the entire crypto industry. If XRP is officially classified as a security, the same status will be almost certainly assigned to hundreds if not thousands of other coins. The SEC is already targeting Coinbase, claiming that many of the coins listed on their platform are unregulated securities. If they win the Ripple case, this will put precedent on their side, and make it much easier for them to shut down Coinbase. The Ripple lawsuit is still ongoing, and it could still take many months before we get a final verdict. For anyone that invests in cryptocurrencies, it's worthwhile to watch the processes closely. The current SEC leadership has made it clear that they want to crack down on the entire crypto industry. If the judge sides with them on the XRP case, we could be in for a very long crypto winter. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video. What do you think about XRP? Should the SEC shut it down? Let us know in the comments section below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Wall Street Millennial, signing out.